So I just got back from the fair. I'm going to call this episode Bumpkin Activities.
Right. You might change the name of the entire podcast to Bumpkin Activities, if we're being totally honest.
I know.
Darren Carter and his Bumpkin Activities.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to a pocket party. Pocket party. Darren.
And we're back. Another exciting episode of the Pocket Party Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Carter, the party starter. We are now calling Mr. Mike Black. Mike Black on the cell phone here. Let's see what we got.
Hello.
Hello, is this Mr. Mike Black?
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Good, we are live on the air. Is this a good time for you?
It better be.
It better be, right? Dude, I love having you on the podcast. Can I just tell you that a lot of times people have gone back and listened to older episodes that you're on, and they will mention stuff, and I'm like, damn, that was a fun one.
It really, yeah.
I know it's funny. Like in the moment, we might think like, oh, that was a pretty fun time, but then as the time has gone by, I'm like, man, I forgot that we talked about that.
Yeah, it's. I think we can hit on some things that seem like nothing, and then when we start going on it, it's like, oh, we really had a lot to say on that subject. Yeah,
like even like when I was looking up, somebody messaged Canadian Maple Stirrup. He said that. Oh, by the way, can you talk a little bit louder? He was like, man, I love when you guys would do like those idioms, and Mike would try to guess what it meant, and like one of them was through thick and thin. And I believe the real answer, they believe that started out was like the thick of the forest, and then when you get to the thin part of the forest where the trees, but then, you and I came up with a different guess of why it would be called thick and thin.
Yeah. Hang on. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. You sound like you're on Bumble right now and you're making your decisions and then you forgot you're doing a podcast.
No, it was I shut off my air conditioner and it started making a real weird noise and then wouldn't really shut off.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
And now it's still kind of on.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So I just got back from the fair. I'm going to call this episode Bumpkin Activities.
Right. You might change the name of the entire podcast to Bumpkin Activities, if we're being totally honest.
I know, because
Darren Carter and his Bumpkin Activities.
The last time I did it, I go, yeah, I went to the fair, and you're like, I go, have you ever been to a fair? And you're like, I've never been to your Bumpkin Activities.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that I said that.
That's hilarious. And by the way, I don't know. I just realized when I kept saying, can you talk louder? Can you talk louder? I had the headphones into the wrong jack. Should we just start this thing over?
No, I think the people need to hear this.
Okay, good. I trust you. You know what's up in show business. I'm like, is this? Yeah, this is real. Okay, because I'm like, talk louder. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even in the right head jack. No wonder.
Yeah, I think the audience needs to know who's to blame.
Who's to blame? I know. It's almost like Wayne's World over here. It's like I got the wrong. Your air conditioning's kicking on. My microphone was like wrong head. Anyway, so I went to the fair for the second time in 2 weeks, and.
Second time.
I realize some people don't even go to the fair. They're like, they've never been to one. They've heard of them.
I can't be bothered with the fair. I'm not. You could talk it up all, like, we could do a 15-hour podcast on how great the fair is, and I would still probably not want to go.
You'd still be like, eh. I will tell you this. There's a lot of ladies who would love to be romantic with guys named Mike Black, and it's there, but too bad the fair's last day was yesterday, but maybe next year, buddy.
You're talking about the kissing booth where you have to pay them. That's low-grade prostitution, Darren.
Oh, that's hilarious. I wonder if there's even a kissing booth. I don't think there is, because I pretty much walked every square into that.
How insane would it be to have a kissing booth during COVID? That would just be pandemonium. There's no way they could do it, but it would be funny if all the money went to COVID.
Oh, that's funny. Brought to
Like,
you.
we're doing a kissing booth. All the money goes to COVID.
You know what there was there that made me laugh? There actually is like a COVID testing site, and it's over there by the corn dogs and the smoothies and the taco stands.
Do you get an old country doctor to? Well, I'm just an old country doctor, but you got the COVID.
Well, I thought what the bad part about that is I don't know who would get a COVID test at a fair, because what's going to happen? They're going to be, oh, you tested positive, you got to go home now. Thanks for the $30 entries fee.
I think they would give it back, probably, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, can I get a refund? I just tested positive for COVID at one of your booths.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys gave me COVID. It'd be how most people would see it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I got it here. I didn't have it when I walked in, and
Yeah, they should test you before you walk in, not while you're at the fair.
Oh, that's funny. I looked at the history of kissing booth, and it says obviously it's an attraction, and usually at a carnival, where the person running the booth usually kisses other people, often to raise funds for charity. There are newspaper articles dating back to at least the early 1900s advertising upcoming kissing booths and their I don't know what this word is. Osculatory favors.
Osculatory favors. Sounds.
I'm gonna look up that word.
Fancy. I wonder if it was ever like the bearded lady.
Oh, geez. I know, right? You're like, oh, I can't wait to go to the fair. Then you get there. Hi, my name's Henrietta, and
Yeah.
It means kissing, the act of kissing. Osculatory.
Oh, okay.
Two nerds that have no idea what that means. We're like, oh.
No, the nerds are the ones that do know what.
Oh, that's true. You're right. They're like, they got like 15 words for it. Hey, we're gonna smooch. We're gonna kiss. We're gonna brace.
I've never done it, per se, but I know all the definitions.
I know.
Yeah. So what amazing things happened at the fair this time?
Okay, so the fair this time. Well, you're right. Well,
I love that you were just chomping at the bit for me to ask you that.
I know. Well, I'm glad you asked,
You're
Mr.
like,
Black.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting this time. The vibe was different. Last time there was less people. I loved it. It was way more like relaxing and entertaining. And then remember we saw the Village People, and then we saw Casey and the Sunshine Band. And just to catch you guys up, Casey and the Sunshine Band was both those guys. It was a great concert. Both were awesome. It was fantastic. I had a wonderful experience, and that was one of those things. I knew both of their music, and since I was a kid, and I was excited to hear YMCA, Macho Man in the Navy, and of course Casey and the Sunshine Band. That's the way. I like it, and shake, 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 shake your booty, shake your booty. All that. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Man, they were incredible. And he put on a few pounds. He made jokes about it. He was like, hey, I got to lose weight. Otherwise, it's going to be called KFC in the Sunshine Band. And it was, dude, the guy was great, man. That concert was great. The atmosphere was awesome. It was just, you would have loved it, man. There was plenty of elbow room everywhere you went. You didn't have to wait in a long line. However, this time, the last day of the fair, it was packed. I mean, we're talking uncomfortably packed, like elbow to elbow. I mean, we're talking, I kept trying to find the boring parts of the fair to get away from everyone. And finally I stumbled across something way in the back, like in a corner, and it was forest fire safety. and they had like these are ranger hoses, and these are the boots you would wear, and remember, if you pack it in, you pack it out. This is don't leave trash.
These are the ranger hoses. The rest of us call them penises.
They were like nobody was back there really. There was like 2 or 3 people. Then you'd see some sad ranger. It was like a junior ranger. It looked like a 19-year-old that was just bored. Dressed up like a fireman that fights fire. He
drew the short straw.
Yeah, exactly. You get to work the county fair.
Great.
The rest of us will be putting out real fires.
Meeting ladies.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, this guy wouldn't even, no offense to this guy if he's listening, but he wouldn't even make the calendar.
Yeah.
I know. They're like,
That's Darren's opinion.
yeah,
There are
exactly.
plenty of ladies out there that think you're great.
I know. And then, so that was like a corner that I found that there was less people to hang out in. And then another corner I found, dude, get this. There was a railroad museum corner.
Okay.
Which I live streamed it, and people actually were paying attention to the live stream. So if you watch the live stream, shout out, thank you. Yes, where you would get to go on certain, train cars, and I live streamed that, and you get to blow the horn, you get to blow the engineer horn or whatever.
What does it sound like, Darren?
I'll tell you, and I'm going to do the impression, but it sounded a lot louder outside of the train than it did inside it. Like when you're outside the train and you're not expecting it, it's like, whoa, you just involuntarily will jump because it's like, what? It's like, oh. No, it's worse. It's like, no, it's actually like I can't really imitate it, to be honest with you. I cannot, but it was loud.
Letdown.
I know, what a letdown, dude. I know.
You really built it up like we're gonna hear some awesome like sort of sound, and instead you did whatever it was you did.
I know that was, but it was really loud, and I got to tell you, when you're doing it yourself, like inside, it didn't sound as loud, but it was funny to watch like other people like jump and shit stuff. So it was like,
Now, is it like, is it a full on train? Did they get like the engine going or anything like that?
Oh yeah, they had the diesel engines. They had like these different engines going and stuff, and you get to see like the little bit of the history of each car. Like this actual train car, Union Pacific, was taken into retirement in 1984, and then you'd see some other train in 1949. This train was in a accident in Garden City, Kansas, or whatever. And then this train, and then you'd see like a guy with like the actual like overalls, on his lunch break. He looked like a real train conductor. And you'd see like the red
scarf and all that stuff.
yeah. You're like, you see like the I got to walk around the red caboose, and that's it was interesting. They had like a kitchen in there, and then they had like upstairs you could go up and chill. But anyway, so I roamed around there. I left that part of the fair, and as nightfall came, as busy as it was, it got even busier. And right as we were leaving, we saw a fight break out, which is like this. Usually, you see this stuff on the internet where it's like 8 people. Some girls are screaming. The guy's on the ground. You saw a couple of kicks. They're kicking the guy. It was far away, but I could still see enough to where I'm like, damn. And then luckily, security was right on it with like their neon vests, and they're like breaking them up and stuff. And then a couple minutes.
We can't have nice things in LA anymore.
I know, dude. It was like, wow. And then, just like you see on the news, man, you see like a stampede of like 9 dudes running out of the fair, and then one of them, like his shoe came off, and he went back to get the shoe, and then you see like, you see the cops. I don't think it was that big of an offense. So the cops weren't even really chasing them, but they were getting the calls over the radio, and and also like you said, you see in LA, there was a couple of dudes drinking beer. Like out, like at the fair entrance, but before you actually enter the property. And I just saw the part where the cop was like, "Come on, guys, you're gonna do this right in front of me. And he was like, tell them that. So they had to pour the beer out. And then,
wow!
And then the one guy was sort of stumbling as he was pouring it into a bush. And then the cop was kind of reprimanding him. And then I looked back about 10 seconds later, and like the cop was walking back to his car, and those guys. So he let them go and everything. But I was just like, whoa, like that was kind of a telltale sign of like, what's going to happen in here? But really, thank God, nothing crazy happened. Just I saw that fight. I saw the guy run with the shoe off. I saw that cop incident. And other than that, it was...
nothing crazy. Just the fight and the guy
exactly. You don't see that. Yeah, do you see that at Disneyland and those kind of places? I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, you don't.
No.
Yeah, it was...
Disneyland would lock down so fast on something like that.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever had a fight at Disneyland, you've lost. You Goofy might kick the crap out of you. You don't start trouble at Disneyland.
Yeah, the happiest place on earth.
Not just that, but it's like that's not just a California rule. That might be like a United States thing of don't start shit at a Disney park. because
Right.
no one is going to be on your side.
Right.
Like nobody, even the people that are with you are like, no, this is a stupid idea, dude.
I know. I found a couple of. I think the best place to eat at the LA County Fair is, in my opinion, is inside of Shaquille O'Neal has a restaurant. It's called like Shaq's Big Chicken or something like that. It's nice. It's air conditioned. It's really, there's a lot of space in there. There was like a DJ playing some music. The restrooms were clean.
They're showing Kazam on a big screen.
Exactly. The French fries were super thin and crispy. I was like, man, these are really delicious. They're like borderline potato chips, but they were really, really good.
Those are the best kind.
They were so good. Yeah.
People are real into like now it's the standard at most French fry joints is yellow and floppy, and that's not French fries.
I don't like
French
that.
fries are crisp, like real crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside, and like they should be blazing hot. Like when you bite into them, you should be risking damage to the inside of your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they're supposed to be. But there's so many pussies now that they have to do these limp, sad, sucky, gross, mushy potatoes. And no amount of salt or ketchup or any other kind of dipping sauce makes them anything but horrible. They're just, it's almost like potato chewing gum.
Yeah, I do like the crinkly kind, the kind that's like crinkly.
The crinkly kind are the second best.
Yeah, those.
They're so good when they're done right, where they're like golden brown on the outside, and then that filling is like super hot on the inside.
That's the kind that it's hard for me to. Yeah. It's hard for me to resist that kind. Like I'll be like, oh, I'll just take one, and then I'm like, can I have another one?
The very best kind, though.
And then I'm like,
best
I know.
In the world is the seasoned waffle fries when they're done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's perfected. It's you know, it's the Mike Tyson of French fries.
Yeah.
Like there may be other people that have, oh yeah, they're pretty good. They're really good. But no one else like knocked out a bunch of people in under a minute.
I know.
That's what the seasoned waffle fry is like. It knocks your tongue out in a minute.
Yeah, the first time I had waffle fries, I'm like, what is this? This is amazing.
I used to work at a Dave & Buster's, and they had a thing called blue cheese fries that looked gross. It looked disgusting. It looked like they just piled a bunch of table scraps together. And it was not even seasoned, just regular waffle fries. A little bit of diced chives, like a big diced red pepper, and then heated blue cheese sauce was drizzled all over them.
Wow.
But it was served with, on the side, some Frank's red hot sauce to dip them in. And at orientation, they were like, you guys have to try everything on the menu in case a customer asks you about it. They were very corporate, you know. And so I was like, I didn't think I liked blue cheese, and I was like, I don't think I want to try those. But the guy was looking right at me, and he was like, try it.
Especially at that age. I think blue cheese is something you usually acquire as you get a little older.
Right. And I had it, and it was bliss. It was so good. It's such a good thing that most of the people that worked there on their break, that was what they were eating. Unless they really, really cared about their health or whatever. Almost everybody just had blue cheese fries for lunch. And then one day they just vanished from the menu.
No.
Like across all of them. Like you go into a Dave & Buster's and go, do you guys have blue cheese fries? And they'll go, oh, you must have worked here a long time ago because we don't know. Those aren't anywhere on the menu now.
Oh, man. That's heartbreaking.
I'm sure they were like 50,000 calories each or something like that, but they were fantastic.
That's something, I was pretty proud of myself. I didn't go crazy. I never really go crazy on the food at the fair, but I have every now and then where I'm like, okay, I'm only here once, but I knew that I was going to be coming back, last time I went. And then this time I was like, well, I was just here. So I actually brought like some trail mix just to kind of make sure I didn't.
I thought you were going to say some ladies, but
yeah, no, I brought trail mix just to be like, okay, like not too, and I didn't really go nuts. I was pretty proud of myself. I did pretty good. I mean, at the end, we were looking for ice cream, like old fashioned ice cream, because that is really good there. But the line was like way too long, and I'm like, okay, I don't need it that bad. I'm good.
Sometimes with stuff like that, you just need the experience to last you a couple years, and then like you'll want it again. Like every couple of years, speaking of Disneyland, I have to have. It's not even like up for debate. I have to have a Dole Whip. Have you ever had one of those?
No, I haven't, but I know that there's this vlogger I follow named Adam the Woo, and oftentimes he talks about Dole Whip. Is that only at Disneyland, or is that?
Pretty much. It's Dole has like, they call it the Dole Pineapple Stand, and it's next to the Tiki Lounge. Where the animated birds make fun of you or whatever. I've never been inside. I assume that's what happens. A bunch of animated birds doing crowd work on you. Which to me sounds dreadful, but people seem to really love it. But outside of that is the Dole stand, and they have fresh pineapple spears that are out of this world.
Wow.
And they have pineapple juice that's fresh. And when it's like July at Disneyland, that's almost like mainlining heroin. It's like as good as it gets on a hot day.
What's it called one more time?
Whip,
it's called the Dole Whip.
Yeah, the Dole Whip. What that is it's basically pineapple flavored ice cream.
Wow.
Like super, super smooth. It's more like a sorbet than ice cream. I'm giving off the wrong impression, I think. But it's super, super smooth. They pile it really high. And that thing is maybe the best dessert in the world on a hot day when you've been like dragging ass all over Disneyland. It is as good as it gets. And then, you'll just need that once. And then, I can go another 5 years and I'm fine. But when I want it, I really, really want it,
I looked it up. It says the Dole Whip is a pineapple-flavored soft-serve frozen dessert sold only at Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. So you're right. It's like a Disney thing.
Yeah. Now, they have it at the hotel, too, and the difference there is that what a lot of people do, I haven't indulged in this, is they throw a little hotel rum in there, and that sounds like it would make it even more fun, especially, again, after dragging ass around Disneyland all day.
Right.
To have a nice rum pineapple drink that's ice cold.
By the way, I looked up. I knew we were going to talk about carnival and fairs, so I looked up I looked up idioms and carnival terms, and I'm going to give you some. Are you ready? Advance man. Lingo for carnival workers. An advance man is a person who takes care of details that need to be handled in advance out of a carnival setting up in a particular location.
Oh, okay. So he surveys the fairground and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And talks to all the vendors and all that.
Right. Now, these are a little bit more on the up and up, these terms, like agent. Oh, he's the person working a game. The butcher, it's a worker who walks around selling food and drinks. Now, here's where we get into the fun part. A flatty, that's one who operates a shady game. Not legal.
Right. So all of them.
A gazoonie, I know, right? A gazoonie is a day labor worker, a newbie who likely won't make it.
I don't know if that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, oh, he's a gazoonie means he probably won't make it. Like, he probably won't last long with our touring carnival. He's just here for the day.
He's there for,
A slang. Okay, now here we go. This is a slang words for carnival customers. A cake eater. Locals believed to be easy to take advantage of. Oh, he's a cake eater.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know.
Or a mark. Or
Yep, a chump, a mark, townsperson you pick out as a victim.
townsperson.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one. A lot lice. Lot lice are locals who arrive early, walk around, and leave late without spending any money.
Right.
Like me the other day when I brought my own trail mix.
Darren Carter, the lot life.
Okay, a mooch is a local who's very easily to fool. Okay, they call a punk as a child. Terminology for carnival prizes: slum, very cheap prizes that are bought in bulk, sometimes for as little as $1. Also called hooch.
Yeah, so like the Chinese finger traps.
Right.
Ruler.
Yeah, because we played a game, and then at the end they give you your choice. Like they hang the giant teddy bears and all the cool stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna win that. And then at the end, that you get your choice in these 3 little wimpy-looking unicorns. You're like,
right, and then you can trade up, right?
I guess they were like, that's right. If every player plays, then you get a chance at the big prize. But if there's like less than 10, but I don't really remember them saying that. I'm sure they did, but you're not going to argue. You're like, a civilized human being.
It's just kind of a standard thing. You say, let me trade 3 of these unicorns for a bigger thing.
I know.
But what a lot of people don't know is that it's important to ask at any of the like carnival type games. Ask them, how many people do I need to play for the prize to get bigger?
That's true.
Because what they may tell you, which is true at like Universal Studios, is it doesn't matter how many people are playing. The prize is this little shitty thing right here.
Yep.
So what you do then is if you have like a group of 10, you each go by 2s and then trade all those shitty little prizes for bigger ones.
Oh, I like that. We turn the tables on those damn carnies.
No, it's just, and they don't mind telling you. They get money either way.
Yeah.
But it's like you get a lot less prizes if you just all go at once,
I was looking up the history of fairs, between county and state, and they originally used it to put up on major trade routes. So that's where they do their agriculture and their livestock. But then they were like, well, let's add some fun stuff, like you said, the kissing booth or the merry-go-round or little entertainment. And they said in Ohio, and I actually like this phrase, what they called it was a jollification. I like that, jollification.
That sounds like Ohio.
Exactly. I know.
Are you coming to the jollification? I am married, sir.
Yeah, I know. I remember Mark McGrath from what was that group? Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray.
He said if you ever, because he was known for playing. Their band was known for playing a lot of fairs. He said if you ever smell funnel cake, I'm pretty much going to be close by. Have you ever performed at a fair?
No, I have not had the pleasure of performing at a. Have you seen the show Hacks?
No, but it's all about comedy, right?
Right. It's about like an older female comedian who's kind of being pushed out, because of ageism. And she gets like a young hipster writer, and the writer has been canceled because of a tweet she had written 10 years ago.
Oh, boy.
And so they're both kind of like on the fringe of comedy, and they end up, working the road together. And I found it, having worked the road with a lot of like high profile comics, I found it surprisingly accurate. Like, normally on shows like that, they take a lot of like creative license. But this one, I was like, wow, they pretty much nailed what this is like. And
yeah,
but it was a lot of fun to watch. But one of the indignities that the older female established comedian suffers is being bumped back down to doing a fair, and like she's performing and it's going okay. It's not great, but it's going okay. But then they like interrupt her on the loudspeaker and go, Bessie just had a calf, and like half the people clear out of the audience to go see this calf that Bessie had.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, that sounds like such a nightmare.
Dude, that kind of stuff happens to comedians all the time. And I remember when I would do a lot of colleges, one time out of nowhere in the middle of my act, about 25 people got up and walked out. And I thought, did I do something wrong? Did I say something? And they were like, no, it was just time for class. And I was like, whoa.
Right, of course.
That,
Yeah.
that kind of thing where you're like, okay, you got to have nerves of steel and just keep just move it.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of places don't know different things. Like, you'll play a bar, and they'll leave a sports game on right behind you while you're doing comedy. And it's like, you got to pick one or the other. You're either having sports in this room or comedy, but you cannot do both.
Yeah, we always learn if there's a pool table in the back, discreetly pick up the white cue ball and put it in your pocket or hide it somewhere so they won't play pool. And then,
Yep.
and then discreetly put it back at the end of your set.
And unplug the jukebox. And,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you wouldn't believe how many people, like regular people would not believe how often someone will see a live comedy show going on and go over to the jukebox and start playing songs and shit.
I know. It's like, dude, come on. But hey, you told me to ask you about Ritz Crackers. What's the deal with Ritz Crackers?
They suck now is the deal with them.
They know? Really?
Yeah, remember, like, they used to be really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they had that paper wrapping.
Oh, yeah.
It was like wax paper. And they were salty and buttery, and it was just the right combination of both, you know. And now they're like cutting a lot of corners. You can just tell they're kind of flat now. They used to be like sort of puffy, you know, and now they're like, they look like they've been deflated, and they don't use enough salt, and there's hardly any butter on them. And they're just kind of gross now.
Wow.
And they have like a weird aftertaste. Like you get like a film on your mouth when you eat them. And what I was thinking is some company is going to come along and actually try a lot of the different junk food that's out there and realize how much it sucks. And they're just going to make more expensive junk food, but it'll taste like junk food used to taste when it was actually good. And they're going to make a killing. They're going to make a mint doing that. Because nobody else is doing that. They're all like following the big companies like Nabisco and those Frito-Lay and all that sort of stuff. And they're just making garbage now. As a fat dude,
Wow.
I've noticed a major difference to where, like, I used to eat junk food all the time. Like, all the time. Now I'll have it on, like, if I'm really, really in the mood for Doritos, I'll pick up a bag of Doritos, and I'll have one or two, and I'll be like, oh, right, this is why I don't eat junk food anymore, because it's not good anymore. You know, it's just terrible now. It all tastes like chemicals nowadays.
You know, I was wondering what you were going to say, so I looked up Ritz Crackers, and it said right now there's a supply chain issue, and I guess they're having a hard time finding the Ritz Crackers. And then I told my wife, I go, yeah, we're going to talk about Ritz Crackers, and she's like, oh, you mean how people are and I didn't know this. People are combining. I guess it's a trend. They're combining Oreos and Ritz Crackers, and they're making a thing. Or maybe Ritz Crackers came out with that, or Oreo came out with that. I don't know, but it's a thing now, I
That's
guess.
the sad part, is people are having to mix things that aren't meant to go together
Yeah.
to make it taste worth a damn at all. You know, like, yeah, if you put an Oreo on a Ritz Cracker,
That's true.
the Ritz is going to taste a lot better, you know. But you remember how Townhouse weren't quite as good as Ritz?
Yep.
Ritz are basically Townhouse now. That's what it is. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not as good as it used to be. It's almost like every brand out there did their version of New Coke, only they didn't make a big deal about it. They just kind of low-key did it.
Yeah.
And so they're like, do you guys notice any difference?
I wonder if you, yeah. I'm looking
And
at
they've been like patting themselves on the back too. They're like, we slowly, without telling anyone, started putting a lot less salt in our products, and nobody noticed. I noticed.
Yeah, you know what? If you're just gonna just do it to where it tastes good, and people leave it to the people, and people.
My feeling on it is, be junk food. Don't try to be health food.
Yeah, remember you told me that with pizza, because I remember getting a pizza and I was like, I had all vegetable pizza, and then I was like, this pizza sucks. And you're like, dude, if you're gonna eat a salad, get a salad. Don't try to make a pizza a salad.
Right. And that's what is happening in the world. Is they're like, you see like Cheetos. They're like, oh, these are gluten free, or these are whole grain Cheetos. That's just gross. Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
no one's buying Cheetos for their health.
I remember McDonald's French fries were the bomb back in the 70s and 80s, and then something happened, and then they tried it, and it's just like,
yeah, now they're that weird floppy yellow shit. I
know. I wonder if you accidentally got the wrong kind of Ritz, or do you think you got the original?
No, because I got the wrong kind of Ritz before.
Oh.
And this isn't that. These are just plain old Ritz Cracker that says on the box original, and it's like I'm gonna ask you different types of Ritz. You tell me yes, no, or maybe. Okay.
Original.
Maybe now.
Roasted vegetable.
No.
Honey wheat.
What?
Garlic butter.
Shut your face.
Reduced fat.
I hate you.
Hint of salt.
Communism.
Whole wheat.
No.
Everything and Ritz fresh stacks.
Everything and
I don't know what that means. It's called everything.
Oh, you're thinking of, there's one that's like an everything bagel. And everything.
Oh yeah.
That's probably okay for like a party.
Where it's like, hey, here's something we never.
And the fresh stacks are just the originals again, and again maybe.
They are also available as sandwiches with peanut butter and cheddar cheese.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those two things. So Mike's sticking with original peanut butter and cheddar cheese, and maybe if there's a party and everything. Yeah. Like any of them with cream cheese are going to be all right, but like by themselves are going to be not really great. You know who's holding strong right now? Keebler. The club crackers.
Oh yeah.
Those are just as good as they've ever been.
Oh, I love those. Those are good too.
The fudge stripe cookies are exactly the same. They haven't changed their game at all. So if you're doing any junk food, look for those little elves, because that is the way to go.
Sometimes I like just a regular plain saltine cracker. I don't know. It's like it's square. It just does its job. I put some peanut butter on it, or I put some cheese on it.
I can tell you my personal favorite, and I've convinced other comics that like when we go to eat somewhere that these are good. There's a brand that's not super popular called Zesta. Those are the best saltines that you can get. And people are like, haha, yeah, whatever. There's no difference between saltine crackers. Zesta. In fact, go further. Get any other kind of cracker, your favorite other kind of cracker, and then try a Zesta, and you'll notice a difference.
I hope Zesta stays in business. I just Googled it. It says in February, Kellogg's announced changes to its salty snacks and network that would see the production of Zesta and toasted crackers moving from the plant in Hamilton County to its facility in Jackson, Tennessee.
I don't like it.
I know you don't like something's happening.
They have something that works, and they're messing with it.
I know, man.
That is, that's what happened with New Coke, and everyone's like, "Oh, it is not that big a deal." We got Coke Classic after that. Coke Classic is not Coke. It's not the same.
Do you like Pepsi?
No. Nobody likes Pepsi. People endure Pepsi.
Remember they were pushing it hard with the Michael Jackson days. It was like, Pepsi,
Yeah.
hee hee, Pepsi.
And then they set him on fire.
they're like
Pepsi does not know what they're doing across the board.
That's pretty amazing that those two companies are both around. When you think about it, like usually in something like that, one wins out, and it's like, okay, this is the thing that we're all going to go with. We're not going to go with the, you know what I mean? Like they both made
kind of, but there's usually like a Burger King to McDonald's. There's the rival usually ends up doing pretty well. Like they're not the best, and they know it, but they usually do okay. Burger King, what happened with them is they just got lazy. Like they just stopped caring. And so Wendy's was like, we'll take that, And
Right.
so they started up in their game, and then all these other places. Now I would say In-N-Out is probably more popular than any of those guys, except McDonald's.
Man, that In-N-Out burger, they do it really good. And if you don't think the patties are thick enough, you can add patties. You can make, I've had a 3x3. Damn, that was good.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want at In-N-Out, and they'll do it. I want 2 grilled cheeses for the bun. And
they'll let you do
give
it.
me 3 patties inside, and they'll go, coming right up, sir. And that's the exact right answer in fast food.
Man, I write those, Fraser Smith and I, we get together usually once a week or something like that, once every 2 weeks. And we, he likes writing topical jokes, so I help him with the jokes, and we're writing these jokes, and then we film our little sketches. We put them on TikTok and everywhere, YouTube. And I got to tell you, that smokehouse restaurant in Burbank, if you ever want to go there with me, man, we got to hit it up. And I get I used to get the salmon or the chicken piccata. I'd get all fancy, this and that. Lately, I've been getting the cheeseburger, and it is delicious, man. That burger is thick.
Don't mostly rich ladies eat there?
I think a lot of, you know what? It's interesting. It's been around, I want to say, since 1949. And, George Clooney was often there. There's a Gary Marshall booth where the famous Gary Marshall, producer of Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, etc., he had his own booth there. And, Steven Soderbergh, I believe his name was there. And I was listening to that Jerry Weintraub book, and he was talking about how when they had one of their first meetings after their meeting at Warner Brothers, they went over to the smokehouse in Burbank, Toluca Lake area. And I'm like, wow, that's where I go. And it's like this cool old steakhouse. It's just dark, and the
that's where Fraser picks up all the ladies.
Exactly. The vinyl. I know, it's so funny, dude. The other day we were doing our jokes. What's one of the jokes? I was watching. Hey, Darren, I was watching Top Gun. Tom Cruise is getting kind of older. Yeah. Now when he gets on the plane, he pre-boards. I messed up the joke, but you get the idea. He says jokes like that, then he snaps his fingers. And so as we were as we were filming the jokes, and he's snapping his fingers, one of the waiters looked at us, and I'm like, dude, I think the waiter thinks that you're snapping your fingers at him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they must think that we're like the rudest customers. We're like,
oh man,
more coffee, please.
Mr. Clooney has asked you to leave.
Exactly. And please remove thyself from thy Gary Marshall booth, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a great place. I've had a couple of things there, and they do an amazing steak or ribs or what have you. But they do really good steak fries there too, and they're very good. I had a lemon chicken there once, and that was great.
Man, that burger is so. Those burgers that are like when they hand it to you, it's really high. It's probably like 4 inches, 5 inches high, and you got to kind of. I don't know what you do, but I kind of smash it down. And because otherwise, how are you going to fit it in your mouth? I mean, that burger is delicious. It was so good.
There's a trick, too. You're supposed to let it sit for a minute on a real thick burger like that.
Oh.
Some chef was talking about it where he was like, it's part of that disconnect between the chef and the people eating the food, where he was like, people would come up to me on the streets and they would go, oh, I love that real thick burger that you do, but it falls apart so fast that I got to use like a knife and fork. And he was like, oh, they don't know that it kind of congeals after it's been served. You have to leave it alone for like a minute. And then the bun will be like sturdy. You know, it'll hold together a lot better, and the meat will hold up together a lot better.
That makes sense.
But it's like a lot of people eat those. I used to do that too. I was like, I would just make a mess of it, and I was like, oh, that's too. This is terrible, you know.
I know.
But when I started doing that, I was like, hey, he's right. Now I could actually eat it like a burger.
How was? Oh, by the way, I want to mention to our fans that are listening to this and our buddies out there, Mike Black and John DeResta, myself, and others will be at Flappers in Burbank Friday, June 24th. So please come out Friday, June 24th. We'll be in the Yoo-Hoo room. The show starts at 7:30, and seating is limited. So please go buy your ticket. Make sure you get your ticket, because if you wait till the day of the show, you might not get in, and I don't want that to happen. So
yeah, and if you don't get your tickets quick and ensure that you're going to be there, you may never know who those others are that he's talking about.
Exactly. June 24th, Flappers in Burbank. It's a huge comedy club. It's amazing, and there's free parking, plenty of parking.
And it'll haunt you the rest of your life if you don't find out who those others are.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I mentioned parking. I guess it's because that goes a long way. Like, when you go to something, you start doing the math. Like, well, if I got to go downtown LA, where am I going to park? But knowing that it's free and there's plenty of free parking, like it's all like,
yeah,
because there's several giant parking garage, and then they don't charge in Burbank near there, like at those, because there's like mall and all that stuff. So
yeah, there's a great underground parking right there because you have the AMC 16 right there, so they want to make sure there's plenty of parking.
Yep, across the street there's Sears. There's like 4 different levels. Macy's is over there. Like there's parking at the whatever.
And there's a lot of great places to eat around there. You can make a night of it. In fact, there's a stone's throw away from an In-N-Out burger.
Oh yeah, In-N-Out Burger. Stone Cold Creamery is there. There's
Corner
the Yard
Bakery.
House. And by the way, Flappers is like I don't know how many stars it is, but it's even Jeff Garland was on stage one night and he goes, "You wouldn't think this place would have good food, but it does. It really does." He's like, "I come here for the salmon. It's good."
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Garland. It exists. Yeah, I've had a few things there, and they're very good.
Let me ask you, I know we were both at the Comedy Store this week. I was there on Saturday. You were there, was it Thursday and Friday?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday.
How'd it go? How was your night?
It was good. It was really good, but I kind of had the option of playing longer one of the nights.
Oh, that's cool.
And what I did was I did shorter on the night that I should have gone longer, and longer on the night that I should have gone shorter. where like the night that I went shorter, it was like a pretty full crowd the whole time. But the night that I went longer, it was already down to like, I got up real late by the time I got up. It was like down to about 12 people. And a few would filter in, a few would filter out, and it was okay, but it was just like I should have taken the bird in the hand, like
wow,
done longer for the fuller crowd.
It's funny that my highlight was number one, I was last. I was on the show last, and there was probably 18 people left, and I thought, let me just film this just to kind of practice, getting into the habit of learning how to film, record. So when the time is right and the room is packed, I'm like, oh yeah, I know where to put the camera. I know where to, everything is good. And that particular night, a buddy of mine who moved to Nashville said, hey, my wife, Katie, can we get 4 passes for tonight? I said, let me find out, because I'd never put anybody on the guest list. And and they hit me back. They're like, yep, I got you, you're down. And I'm like, perfect. So I'm going there and I'm thinking, well, at least I don't know how many people will be left in the audience when I'm on stage. And so I'm looking around before I go on. I'm like, I don't see her, because I've met my friend's wife. I don't see her. But I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe they left or whatever. Maybe they're tired, got an early flight. I go up on stage and great set for what it was. Like it was, like I said, that late night kind of vibe where, people have left and there's still some there. And it was, I had one of the funny moments, this kid, when I say kid, he was probably like 20, he had tattoos on his arm, and he was wearing a death row. There was a family of 4 that was sitting right by the stage, and the camera captured them perfectly because they were right there. And he had a Death Row Records shirt. And so I'm thinking, oh, perfect, I'll do my Snoop Dogg. So after I settled in, got everybody laughing, and then I go, I know you're not going anywhere, because I make jokes about how some people are like, should we stay, should we leave, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I know you're not going, you're wearing death row, this is for you, buddy. And then I go, well, yeah, what's cracking this to Digo Double G, the big Snoop Dogg. And then the crowd cheers, and I go, and I did a little specialized rap for the guy, and then then I move on with my set. Dude, not kidding, 20 seconds later, that guy with the Death Row Records t-shirt gets up to go use the bathroom. And I called him. I'm like, dude, what are you... You're going to go pee? Come on, man. I'm like only up here for 15 minutes. And then I was making a joke out of it. And I tell the crowd, I go, if there's any comedians in the back, don't try to just play to one person, because that one person, I thought for sure this guy will stick around. And now he's leaving,
right.
What am I?
Yeah.
And then it turns out afterwards, that was the family that I got on the guest list from Nashville.
Oh,
and,
okay.
So I'm thinking it was going to be my buddy's wife, but no, that was, I don't know if that was her boss or what, from Nashville. But dude, those people were so nice. Like afterwards, they talked to me for about 15 minutes. Each one of them shook my hand. It was the dad, his second wife, and 2 children who were in their 20s. And then there was 3 more kids back home, but they were so nice, and it made me feel really good. And
did the guy apologize for walking out on
oh
you?
yeah, he was just like you would imagine, man. Like one of those aw shucks Tennessee guys. He's like, I'm so sorry, man. I had to pee so bad, and and Willie Hunter was on right before me. He's like, and the last comic before you was talking to me, and I didn't want to go during his set, and I couldn't hold it anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I get it. Like I talked about that too, about like when you have to go, you go. I mean, I let the guy off the hook, but they were so nice, and that brings me to my point. I was telling my buddy who arranged the, my buddy that just moved to Nashville. He was telling me about a story that his mom worked for a factory in Kentucky for 45 years. And at one point, her bosses came out and she was like, do you know Stevie D? I'm talking about Stevie D, Steve Dupin. So Stevie D, she goes, Stevie, she's like, my boss is coming out with his, and he's like, oh, don't worry, Mama, let me see if I can, So he put him on a guest list, and he got him in at another comedy club. I don't want to say where it's at, but it's not one of the main ones. It's not one of the main ones.
Okay.
So it's another club. It's it's another club, and so
one of the clubs that you don't do business with, and it's not going to affect your career.
Right.
About.
Wait, you know what? Actually, this isn't really a bad story about them. So.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Even better.
Should I say the name?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because I just messed up by calling them not a major comedy club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Well, let's put it. When I say not a, whatever. Let's just move on from that.
I would just say they're out of business by now.
Yeah, they're out of business, but I still hope they give me spots.
Home, Darren.
I know. So anyways, long story short. So these bosses come too late. The bosses come out. My firm really, it's just for his mama. She'd worked for this factory 45 years. He gets there now. They don't comp anything. That's what I'm saying. They're not one of they don't comp him anything. So he's paying for their tickets. He's paying for dinners. He's paying for their drinks. He's going all out because it's his mom. And he said that the bosses didn't even say thank you, dude. They didn't even say one word, not one nice thing. And he's like, well, whatever, it's okay. And then on top of it, a couple days later, his mom reaches out and she's like, oh, he forgot his coat. Can you go back there and pick up his coat and ship it to us? And he's like, you do know that it's 35 minutes away. But he's like, you'll do anything for your mom. So he's sitting through traffic. He gets there. He gets the jacket. And he said the coat was like a 1985 London fog coat. Now, when I told that to my wife, she's like, oh, so it was heavy. Yeah, it was like this heavy London fog coat. And he said the zippers were broken. He's like, it cost more to ship than it was the worth of the coat. And he mailed it to him, and he still never got a thank you or nothing. But that was one of those.
Yeah. I'll just buy you a new coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, so that was like night and day. Like those guys that they really appreciated, coming to the Comedy Store and being a part of the show. And the guy told me that it was his daughter's, she just graduated college and this is part of their big celebration. And he goes, I don't know if he, I want to think he was sincere. He shook me. Like I said, that handshake thing was really, I don't know, it really works because it's like they all of them shook my hand in the beginning, and then when they left, and then I remember that the father was the last one to shake my hand, and he shook me in that southern hospitality. He shook me in the hand. Shook my hand, looked me in the eye, and he goes, this was the cherry on top of the end of our Los Angeles trip, and she will remember this experience for the rest of her life. Thank you. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I was like, man, that was good. Like,
that's very cool.
I know that guy had nothing to gain. He wasn't a salesman and nothing. He's just a guy that was on a family trip and giving his wife or his daughter a nice trip,
Yeah. That's really great.
I know. I do. That's one thing that
that kind of makes up for all the crappier ones, when stuff like that happens.
It does, right? It's like, there's,
I tell myself it does.
I know.
Whether it actually does or not, I don't know. But it is nice when people kind of go out of the way to show that they appreciated what you did, especially if it's like a free show or something like that,
Oh, yeah.
I always think it's really cool when people do that.
We're going to wind the show down. There was a thing that I used to do all the time where I'd say, hey, can you name, let's go back and forth with 3 things that made us happy. But I forgot to cheat and do my little list.
Why don't you think of 3 off the cuff?
Oh, let's do it. 3 off the cuff. Okay. Well, number 1, I'm thankful that I have a podcast and a good guy like you, a very funny comedian and off the cuff entertainer and friend that I can call up and arrange plans with. And you're just a great guy to bounce ideas off of. And also I want to say thank you for, sometimes I'll have premises for jokes and I'll tell you those stories and you make them even funnier. Like when I talked about, eating late at night and I go, our microwave is really, I didn't realize how loud our microwave is at 2 a.m. like 2 p.m, it's beep, beep, beep. But 2 a.m, it's
right.
And then you were like, yeah, you got to have Cracker Jack timing. And you're over there like a,
like a safe cracker. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thankful for that. That's the first thing I'm thankful for. And
that was all one thing?
That was all one thing.
Okay.
Or that might have been 2, but we'll just count it as one.
You have 2 more.
Oh.
What are your next?
Well, I thought maybe we'd go back and forth.
Oh, fine. I'm going to sound like a jerk if I don't say that I'm thankful for you and all your crap and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Darren's the best and he's wonderful and everything.
Dude, I'm trying to cut this out as
jokes for free at 2 a.m.
Exactly.
No, I'm right now. You want the real truth?
Yes.
I am thankful for Tums smoothies because I ate too much pizza yesterday and I got heartburn. And a couple of those will pick you right back up. I'm basically living like an old wizard. Now that I've gotten old, it's like I'm like, oh, I have a potion for this and a potion for that. But,
Yeah.
Today, though, it's Tums smoothies that really did the trick.
Dude, I didn't even know there was a Tums smoothies.
There's regular Tums, and then smoothies are like they sound. They're more like they're flavored like smoothies, but they're also texturally very smooth. And it only takes like one of them to clear up some pretty bad heartburn.
Wow. Okay, I'm thankful for it. I know she's probably listening. I love you, honey. I'm thankful for my wife and how she plans events for us. She plans everything. And it's like, if it was up to me, it probably wouldn't get done. So she's creating great memories for our son, Like, we went downtown to the crypto arena, formerly Staples Center, and we got to see, it was called the New Kids on the Block Mixtape Tour 2022. And we got to see New Kids on the Block, Salt and Peppa and Vogue and the one and only Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up.
Did he rickroll the crowd?
Yeah, exactly. And my son filmed it. My son thought it was amazing because my son, he loves Rick Astley. It's so weird. He made a resurgence. Never gonna give you up. Yeah, he rickrolled the whole crowd, and my son dressed like him, during one of those famous videos, and people were taking photos of Austin.
He needs to tag him in like some reels on Instagram.
I know.
Can you imagine if he rickrolled him?
I know.
Like if he rickrolled your son someday, like
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
that'd be great.
Awesome.
But yeah, okay, so
Aust
now
the
you're on.
bass boss. Yeah, so
Okay, that was number 2, your wife's planning.
yep.
For me, I'd like to thank my wife for not existing so that I can spend all my money on whatever I want and go to bed whenever I like and go wherever I want, do whatever I want. For not having kids either. my non-existent wife.
Here's another
Yeah.
Here's another thing I'm thankful for, and I didn't think about this until I talked to Mark Price, Skippy from Family Ties.
Were you thankful that you weren't Skippy from Family Ties?
I'm thankful I was never a side character on an 80s sitcom. No. He's a really nice guy, and he was telling. We were talking about vaudeville. His father was a vaudeville comedian, and he played maybe not vaudeville, but his father would play the Catskills, and I forget his name right now, but it's Al. I actually don't even know if it's Al, but it's he would play the Catskills, and I talked to him about that. I go, I wish there was. I go, you think there'll ever be something like that? He said basically the Catskills were in upstate New York, and everybody would go there in the summer. They'd pay a one-time fee. It was like cruise ships on land, and they would go from resort to resort and have all this entertainment. And it was just, and I go, man, I wish that I go, do you think that'll ever happen again? And he said, well, a couple things that played into that. Number one, Jewish people weren't allowed in certain places, so like country clubs, etc., certain places at that time. So that was a safe haven, a place that if you were Jewish, you could go there.
Yeah, the Borscht Belt was where you would, do that sort of thing.
Right. So there's that, and he goes, mixed with that, there wasn't central air conditioning in New York City. It would get so hot, but they'd go up there, and it was like 20, 30 degrees cooler. And I was thinking about everything he said, and also the fact that he said that there wasn't central air, and I just thought how much better and pleasant my life is, all of our lives are, that we have central air, that we get into, that we can sleep better at night because of central air conditioning, that we can, in our car. When I first moved to LA, my air conditioning, I had an 84 Honda. It was a used car, and it didn't, I don't know if it had air, but maybe it just didn't work at that time. And so a lot of times I'd show up to meetings or places, and I was sweaty, dude. I had to cool myself off before I present myself.
Bring a change of clothes or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm thankful for air conditioning.
That's a good one. If they do bring those back, and you guys start taking your families to the Borscht Belt and that sort of stuff, watch out for those dance instructors. There's a whole movie about how they can just really shake up everything in the family.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Dirty Dancing.
Oh, hilarious. Dude,
just watch out.
That went right over my head. I never knew that. I never saw Dirty Dancing. I've only seen the highlights.
You're missing out on some good quality entertainment. I am thankful that I have here's the thing. I just got a text. I am thankful that I have a spot Thursday in the original room at 11:45 at the Comedy Store.
Oh, cool.
So that's a good thing. That'll be my third thing.
I just checked my text messages. I don't have any text messages from the Comedy Store.
Well, they go in alphabetical order, Darren. I'm sure you're next.
Oh, okay. I'll just be staring at my phone. Looking for
any minute now. That text is going to chime up. And
yeah, exactly. I know.
It'll add a little pep to your day.
I know. I love it, man. I love being a comedian. I love talking to my comedy friends, and I love that you have a spot this week. That's great. I got a couple myself, and I want to.
Yeah, you're going to be okay. And it's a Thursday spot. It's not like I got like a main room spot at 10 p.m. or something.
I know, right? I want to thank, in closing, I want to thank the listeners for hanging in there with us, man, making us part of your day. I just tell the audience, when I'm on stage and I promote the podcast, I say, just keep me in the rotation, just keep me in your top 10 podcasts that you listen to, because, I know they got their conspiracy ones or their news or their murder, whatever, but I like to make this kind of like light conversation and just,
Sure, but you know what I say though?
Yeah.
To hell with that.
Exactly.
Screw Darren just being in the rotation. Use him as the jumping off point. anytime you're going to listen to podcasts, go, I'm going to see what's going on with Darren first.
Ooh, I like that.
Like you're the warm up for all the other podcasts to come, you know? And that way he gets skyrocketed to number one. You get to hear a great podcast. And then you can hear whatever other bullshit about who murdered the Black Dahlia or whatever on the drive home.
I know.
On the drive back.
And also, guys, if you're on YouTube, hit that thanks button. If you're anywhere and you want to make a donation, that's cool. If you want to leave a review on iTunes, that helps. And just share these links and get us out there, man. And thank you so much for being a part of our day. And we'll talk to you soon. And Mike Black, thank you. And
anytime. Always a pleasure.
Have a great day, buddy. And we'll talk soon. And I'll give you a call later.
All right. Sounds good.
You got
Bye-bye.
it. Okay. Bye. Well, look at you. You made it all the way through. Pocket Party Podcast. Dude, Mike Black is a great guy, man. I hope you guys get to see him live performing soon. Oh, June 24th. Flappers, Burbank, June 24th. And other than that, thank you guys again for hanging out with Darren Carter, the party starter, and my buddies Mike Black. Pocket Party Podcast. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Don't hurt nobody. Don't hurt nobody. Be careful.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to the Pocket Party